Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you are joining. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Hayley and I review fragrances. So in today's video I am going to be talking all about fragrances that I feel are perfect for transitioning from the summer season through to the fall season. And I've tried to pick fragrances that I don't talk about as much on my channel, just to mix it up a little bit for you. Some of these are new to my collection and some of these are trusty favorites, but these are fragrances that I feel you can wear in that kind of transitional season where it's not quite summer anymore, it's not super hot, it's also not cool enough to warrant the full strength of the autumnal fall season vibes. I hope that makes sense. Of course, I am going to be doing full recommendations too, but I'm going to leave it for a couple more weeks yet. So these are transitional fragrances, and I have here a coffee. My husband yesterday made me a pistachio syrup to put in my coffee in the morning. So I have here a pistachio oat milk latte. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but this is just giving me full vibes through and through. And the older I get, the more I really appreciate the fall season. I love the feeling of being cozy, wrapped up in a blanket and reading a book. So I'm going to stop waffling now and get into the first fragrance. But before I get started, I would love it if you could subscribe to my channel. It really helps my channel out and I would love to have you as part of this amazing fragrance community. So now that's out of the way, I'm going to get started on my first recommendation. First up is one of the newest releases from Creed. Now, I've only had this for 1 week in my collection, and I was invited to a Creed event. So this fragrance was gifted to me at the event. It has my name on the back and my star sign, which is a Libra. It is my birthday month. And I feel like this fragrance is perfect for the transitional season. Now, I wasn't quite sure what to expect from the two new releases from Creed. They are both amber dominant fragrances, but this is the one that stood out to me the most out of the two. Now, I don't necessarily get a ambery vibe from this composition, and I will explain why. To me, this is almost more of a skin scent, kind of buttery iris fragrance with some vanilla in here. There's almost like an almondy heliotrope cherry vibe in the opening, to me at the very least, and then it's kind of woody and resinous in the dry down, but it's not super ambery in my opinion. I mostly get this kind of combination between the iris and the vanilla. Now, this is a softer fragrance. I would say this is a little bit more of a skin scent. The longevity isn't the best, so please bear that in mind because this is an expensive fragrance. I wish the longevity and the projection was a little bit better, but that being said, I really love the scent profile. It has an almost Dior Homme intense feel about it, but a little bit more feminine in my opinion. This is completely unisex. There is an incense note in here too, but it's quite subtle, at least to my nose. But it is a cozy, comforting iris and vanilla to me. This is the kind of fragrance that I want to wear when I want to cuddle up and read a book. So I wanted to include it in this list, and the bottle color really does speak full vibes in my opinion. But as I've mentioned, the longevity sucks a little bit. So for the price point, I would urge you to sample this. Do not blind buy it because obviously it's an expensive fragrance, and I don't want to say do not blind buy it because you are free to do as you wish, of course, but I don't want you to be disappointed in the price point versus the longevity. So just giving you my honest take there, but I do really love this fragrance and I feel like it is a perfect transitional fragrance from the summer to the fall season. Next up is a fragrance from a brand called Nectar Olfactive, and this one is called Supreme Nectar. Now, this fragrance definitely gives me cozy autumnal vibes, but you can wear this in the summer too, in my opinion. You can also wear this in the winter and the spring, but it mostly gives me that transitional vibe to the fall season. This is such a cashmere sweater, cuddle up, cozy by the fireplace, drinking hot cocoa. That is what I feel anyway. Now, to me, this is a powdery, almondy tonka fragrance. I absolutely love tonka as a note. And this is exactly the kind of tonka fragrance that I really, really enjoy. I remember when I was sampling this one, my husband sampled it too, and he was like, this is a Hayley scent. And he is right, this is exactly the kind of scent that I love. It is a whipped almond tonka bean fluffy fragrance that also has a slightly woody base, which is coming from a really creamy sandalwood. It's also a little bit musky. It's in a similar realm to Velvet Tonka by BDK, which is a fragrance I absolutely adore. So if you like that type of scent profile, I would urge you to try this one. But I would say this is almost a little bit more whipped, almost like a slightly more gourmand version of Velvet Tonka. This is just fluffy almond and tonka vibes through and through, and it's one that I would definitely be reaching for in this transitional season. I will wear this in the fall season too, and also the winter, but I absolutely love this one from Nectar Olfactive. It is such a vibe. Next up is a fragrance from a brand called HOC or Hawk, and this one is 5 p.m. Now, I've spoken about another fragrance from this brand on my channel. They currently have 3 fragrances in their collection, and this one I tried via a sample before I got a full-size bottle. Before I get started on the scent profile, I have to mention the packaging. I think this is exquisite, so unique and very, very luxurious. Now, what does a 5 p.m. smell like? This is like a lemon shortbread biscuit dunked in tea. That is the vibe I get from this. It was an absolute love at first sniff, and I feel like this is the perfect fragrance for this transitional season. It's sweet, it's buttery, it's lemony, it's got that biscuit vibe. It's also got the tea note in here too. Totally the type of fragrance that I absolutely love. It has this kind of slightly milky quality to it as well. I wouldn't say it's lactonic as such, but it has a kind of milky-ish quality. If you could imagine Xerjoff Lyra with a tea note, and it's a little bit more aromatic. This is almost what this reminds me of a little bit. It is a kind of lemon cookie gourmand, but it's not as sweet because it has that tea note. I just think this is absolutely incredible. You can get samples from this brand. I will link it down below. I would highly recommend sampling this one if you like the idea of a lemon shortbread cookie dunked in tea, maybe a milky Earl Grey tea. That is the kind of overall vibe that I'm getting. And I would say I personally would wear this year round, but it has this kind of cozy quality, which I think is perfect to transition from summer to fall season. So yeah, if you do try this one, please do let me know, because this is such an underrated gem. I think it's absolutely incredible. So this was 5 p.m. by HOC. Next up is a vanilla fragrance from Leda. Now, I wanted this one in my collection for the longest time, but they did not ship to the UK. Well, thankfully, the brand now ships to the UK, and I am super excited to have this fragrance in my collection because this one is going to be perfect for the autumn, fall season, but also the winter. This is such a cozy, warm, sugary vanilla fragrance that's not super sweet. I've seen people comparing this one to Vanilla 28 by Kayali. However, I feel like this one is a little bit more complex personally. Now, I've worn this once only. I will start to wear it a little bit more now, but it is new to my collection. But this is almost like a peppery, warm, sweet vanilla fragrance that's really smooth. It's got a slightly spicy quality from the ginger and the cardamom, and then it's really musky in the base. Totally my type of scent profile. I'm sure so many of you have probably tried this one already. If you have, Please do let me know what you feel about it, but it is the perfect warm vanilla fragrance without being too thick and cloying, which is why I feel like it makes the perfect transitional scent, because it's light enough to wear in the high heat, but also warm enough to wear in the cooler weather. So first impressions of it, like I said, I've only worn it once. Really strong on this fragrance. I know I'm going to wear it quite a lot now that the weather is starting to cool down. So yeah, if you have tried this one, please do let me know what you think about it. Next up is Soradora Jani, and I have been waiting to pull this fragrance out because I kind of had it in the wrong season, or at the end of the cooler season, and I feel like this one is best in the cooler season. Now, some may argue that this is probably better in the fall season and the winter. However, I would wear this transitionally too, because it has this sweetness that thrives in the warmer weather too, but not in the height of summer. It would be too cloying for me. But in the transitional season, I think this one is absolutely perfect. So it is a very sweet apple pie vibe, and my friend described this as smelling like an apple pie before it's been baked, and I totally know what she means about that. It kind of has that buttery pastry vibe about it, but it's not yet been cooked, and then it has that tart apple and cinnamon. Really intoxicating to me. Some people say this smells a little bit like a Yankee Candle. I kind of get what they mean about it. It does kind of give off those candle vibes, but for me, I absolutely love this as a fragrance. This is warm apple pie and buttery pastry, and this is just a mouth-wateringly good fragrance. If you have not tried Jani yet and you love the sound of the kind of rich caramelized apple with cinnamon, definitely get a sample of this one, because it is mouth-wateringly good in my opinion, but I would recommend that you sample it. So yeah, Jani for me is a great transitional fragrance, but it will also see you through the fall season and the winter season too. Next up is Nado Blonde Redhead, and I have spoken about this fragrance quite a lot on my channel. I think this one is absolutely incredible. It's on the more affordable size of niche fragrances too. It's under $100, which I think is great, and the quality is amazing. Now, the fragrance, let me tell you, I am so addicted to this one. There is something incredibly Moorish about it. I just kind of want to like eat my skin off. That sounded very strange. What does this smell like? Okay, this is sticky dates with rose jam, some freesia. It smells like the most decadent cake. So think vanilla sponge with some chopped sticky dates throughout. You've then got some maybe rose and strawberry jam. And then there are some florals in your home as you're eating it. I know that sounds a little bit strange, but to me, this is a vanilla strawberry whipped cream sponge with some jammy rose sticky dates. I feel like I've just gone off on a tangent, and I'm so sorry. Okay, I probably confused you a little bit then, so I'm going to try to simplify it. Think vanilla sponge with whipped cream, strawberry jam, and some sticky dates. I do get a jammy rose vibe too, so maybe it's a strawberry rose flavored jam. And then I'm getting these light, kind of buttery freesia florals in the background. I just think this one is phenomenal. Highly recommend sampling this one. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I would wear this all year round, but I do feel like it will perform so well in the fall season too. So yeah, this is definitely in my recommendations for the transition to summer to the fall season. So those were all of the fragrances that I wanted to talk about in today's video. Please do let me know if you have tried any of these, and if so, what do you think about them? But also, let me know what fragrances you will be reaching for the transition from the summer to the fall season. As I mentioned, I will be creating an autumnal fall season dedicated video soon, but let's transition first. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure as always. I hope to see you in a future video to come. Thank you so much and goodbye.